So option trading isn't new, but it's definitely become more mainstream in the last few years. I've been derivative trading for almost a decade now, but it's only in the last 3 or 4 years that people have been participating in my fund. New people are finding it every day. They like the results, they want to participate, but the question I get a lot is how? There's a lot of people out there who have never traded options before, so it can be intimidating for people who have never actually executed these types of trades. But I don't want that to be a barrier because I truly believe that everybody needs some derivatives exposure in their portfolio. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it, and hopefully by the end of it, we're going to remove some of that barrier to entry that people are feeling. Trust me, it's a lot easier than people think, so let's get into it. So there's only 2 things that people need to know. The first is, how many contracts are you going to be trading? This is going to depend on the size of your portfolio. And the second is, how do you actually execute the trades within your trading software? That's it. You don't have to study options. You don't have to understand the Black-Scholes model. You don't have to know what theta or gamma means. If you are interested in those things, my website does have a lot of articles that go into more detail, but all you need to know is how many contracts and how to execute those trades. So as far as contracts go, every trade we open will have a maximum buying power requirement of 2,500 USD, so 2,500 US dollars. They'll all be less than that, but that's how much you have to leave. So of course, I don't know what your account value is, but let's say you have $10,000 to allocate to my Iron Condor strategy. You just take the 10,000, you divide by the 2,500 required per contract, and for you that would be 4 contracts. Every signal you take, you'll be trading 4 contracts, and you're going to do that until your account value reaches the next 2,500 level up. When your account hits 12,500, you can now afford 5, and when you hit 15,000, you start trading 6 contracts. So it's really easy. You just get your signal. There's going to be about 1 trade per month. You just take your account value, divide by that $2,500, and that's how many contracts you're going to trade. So if you've got 50,000, divide by 2,500, for you that's going to be 20 contracts. If you've got 200,000 to allocate, then for you that's going to be 80 contracts. And it just goes on like that. So now all you have to do is execute the trade. And for that, I'm going to go through a live trading example using one of the more popular trading softwares, which is thinkorswim from TD Ameritrade. So here we are inside the thinkorswim platform. And you can see that this is a simulated trading account. The reason I'm doing that is because I don't actually execute my trades with this one. I use a different one called Interactive Brokers. But for Interactive Brokers, while their fees are cheaper, that's why I do it there, their trading software is just about the ugliest one I've ever seen. So whenever I'm making videos, I like to use thinkorswim because it's much nicer to look at. And it's also much more similar to most other softwares that I've seen. The tabs are all very similar. Interactive Brokers is a little bit strange, so it's definitely not good for videos. So we're going to use thinkorswim. Now I will say that anybody who's brand new to option trading, you can consider doing this as well. You could use a paper account, you could execute a few trades, get a little bit of practice in, and that way if you mess up, of course, you can just reset it. It doesn't really matter. That's not necessary. The trades are not that difficult to input, but if you did feel like you wanted to gain a little bit of confidence, you could certainly do a paper trading account as well. So now we're going to go ahead and input the trade. Subscribers are very used to getting their daily emails, and they've seen those signals. Right now, we're actually in cash, so I'm just going to make up a signal and just pretend that that's the trade for the day. So here's our sample trade. It's going to be number 62 in the order. This is the Russell 2000, so the ticker is RUT. Today's date, of course. And then the expiring month is going to be May 2017. Over here, this is just the strike price information, and then the premium that we're targeting to get. Now we're going to go into the trading software and actually input this data. So they're all going to be a little bit different, but essentially you're just looking for some type of trade tab. In thinkorswim, it is called the trade tab. In this box, you're going to input the ticker that we're looking for, Russell 2000. Now, all softwares as well, Interactive Brokers is the same. I'm sure they're all the same. For the type of spread, you can just go ahead and select what we're actually doing. Don't have to do that, but it makes it a little bit easier. So I'm going to select Iron Condor, and then I'm going to go down to the May 2017 strike. That's the one we're looking for. So we're going to open that. This is the option string. I usually click on the black line, but just to make this easy, you can actually click anywhere you want on that page. Hit sell, and then go over, sell an Iron Condor. So we're getting pretty close already. We just have to input the numbers and we're done. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to input the strike prices. If we go back to this sample, we've got the call side, we've got the short 490, the long call 1510. So we're going to input those. These are the call side. We're going to do that 1490 and 1510. Okay. On the put side, we're going to do 1230 and 1210. So again, here's the puts, here's the short put. We're going to do that 12.30 and a 12.10. Okay, getting closer. Now we're going to have to input the contract number. Remember, for that, again, you just take your fund value, divide by 2,500. In this example, it's going to be 4 contracts. So we're going to input 4. Okay, the last thing we need to do is decide on a price. So you can see that 220. That's the same 220 as here. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what it's going to say for you, because of course we're all going to be executing our trades at different times throughout the day. So by the time I give you the signal, if the markets are moving around a lot, it's possible that this number is a different number. But don't let that throw you. It just means that at the moment that you're taking your trade, it's going to be a different number. Now, the markets are a very random walk, especially in the short run. And when you reduce this down to a single day, it's a totally random walk. So we're not going to try to nickel and dime this. Whatever it says for you, that's basically what you're going to be targeting. Don't worry about the 220 that I said. Just try to get the best price that you can. Of course, some days you're going to feel like you paid too much. You might pay 10 or 15 cents too much. And other days you might get lucky and you might get that 15 cents back. Of course, in the long run, it's going to balance itself out. So we're not going to worry about that. Right now it says 220. But again, that's not necessarily the price that I'm going to get. That's just a midpoint in a pretty wide spectrum of prices. So we're going to actually have to input these prices and see what we can get in the moment when I'm executing my trade. If we go back to the chart, you can see that it's going to be moving around a little bit. So, depending on what time of day, of course, this is going to change. 220 is what it says right now. So what I recommend people do, again, we're not going to nickel and dime, but there's nothing wrong with trying to get a little bit more. Remember, the higher the number, the better, because we're selling these contracts. You want to bring in more premium. So 225 is better than 220. So we're just going to see if this is going to work. When we hit confirm and send, it's going to pull up this little page. You can check all the numbers. You can go back to the signal and you can check all that. If it's all ready to go, we're going to go ahead and hit send and see if we can get this trade. Okay, so it sent it. We can go to the monitor tab and we can see that it's working. We're trying to get 225, and the current, what they call mark, it's basically a rough estimate of the midpoint. It says 220, so we're probably not going to get this. But if it's me, I'm going to wait 20 or 30 seconds and see if it actually gives me the bell that it executed. Sometimes you get lucky. But for this example, of course, I'm not going to go through this waiting process. I'm just going to show you that sometimes these prices, you don't get them. So somewhere on here, again, in thinkorswim, it's this little box. But you're going to be able to change your order. So you're just going to change the order from 225 down to the 220. And we're going to see if we get that. Again, no guarantees. The prices are going to be moving around quite a bit. We might have to go all the way down to $2 or $2.05 in order to actually get this trade. But again, now I'm going to sort of wait for 20 or 30 seconds and see if I get it. I'm not going to wait right now because it's a video. So I'm not getting 220. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get 215. And I would do this process several times. Other times, the very first price that you input, you actually get it. So 215, I'm still not getting it immediately. That doesn't necessarily mean I wouldn't get it if I waited an hour. But again, that would be based on the randomness of the markets. You can see that, this little tick doesn't look like much, but that probably cost about 5 or 10 cents. So, it's possible. Oh, there we go. As I'm talking, the trade went in. But like I was going to say, it's possible that you're just not getting the prices. So you're going to go through this 5-cent process, wait 20 or 30 seconds, get your trade done. Again, we're not going to nickel and dime. Don't worry about putting a price in and waiting 3 hours and seeing if you get lucky. I don't personally do that. I view the markets as a very random walk. So I just get things done. And we did. We got our trade finished. It's a filled order. Now you can see it in here. We got it for 215. Maybe next time you'll get 225. It really doesn't matter. Just trust me, in the long run, it all works out. So hopefully people can see how easy that was. I know that it took a little bit longer during this video, but believe me, I don't want there to be a barrier to entry, because this option trading thing is a whole lot easier than people think it is. Once you get good at this, it's going to be 1 minute tops. And B, option trading is very profitable. So you don't want to avoid this segment of the market, and this, essentially, I consider it an asset class. You don't want to avoid this asset class because of what you just saw. I mean, I know that it's not quite as simple as our volatility and our balance, where you just literally input the ETF price and you're basically going to get it because it's a penny different strike price. This, of course, requires a couple extra steps. But again, don't be intimidated by this. If you need to use a paper trading account, go ahead and do that. Also, if you need to email me about any questions at all, I can walk you through whatever the issue is. So now that you can execute the trades, all you do is wait patiently for the next buy signal. I'm doing my work every day, crunching those numbers, calculating the best entry points, and we're just going to take what the market gives us. Things have been really calm and boring lately, so there haven't been that many volatility trades to take. But believe me, things can change quickly, so stay tuned and keep checking those daily emails. Thanks for watching. So if you click the link right here, sign up for the VTS newsletter, you're going to get complete access to all of our trading strategies for a full 2 weeks absolutely free. And if you're new here and you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. You can do that down below. Hit the like button and of course leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. See you next time.